When somebody uses the expression safe as houses, what are they really trying to tell you? Well, they're trying to communicate that something is completely safe. You don't need to worry about it. But is that true? Are houses even really safe? Well, folks, the reality is that experienced real estate investors understand generally that there's a scale from low risk to higher risk investments. And on one end of the scale, they're going to put multifamily residential. And on the very far end of the scale, they're going to put real estate development. And everything in between kind of depends on the market that you're in and the asset that you're talking about. So if you're investing in commercial products such as industrial or retail, hotels, office buildings, they'll fall in different places on the scale depending on the time that you're working on them. But generally, multifamily is always going to be on the safe end. And development is always going to be on the riskiest end. Let me try to explain why. So imagine that you have a building somewhere in the middle of that scale and it's got one tenant. It's a large retail building. And all of a sudden, that tenant is gone. You've got 100% vacancy, and you may have that for years and certainly for many months. Now imagine that you've got a multifamily building and it's got 100 units in it, and 5 or 10 people move out. You're going to have, let's say, 90% occupancy still, and that'll only be for a few months because people always need a place to live. Businesses come and go. Different markets change the way things work. And so that's why all the things in the middle are more risky than multifamily. On the very far end of the scale is development, because often that will take 2 or 3 years, and in the process the timing could take longer, expenses could increase, and the idea that you had 2 or 3 years ago to take a vacant piece of land and do something with it, the market might change completely in that length of time. So you're taking something that doesn't exist and creating it, and it's taking time to do it, and there's so many variables in the process that development is a very high risk proposition. It also has the greatest returns, and when you evaluate things, you need to consider what that is. If you're looking for something that is reasonably safe, multifamily is generally considered that, multifamily residential rental properties. If you own single residential properties, that's close, but if you have one vacancy, obviously it's completely vacant as well. So sometimes you can hedge your bets a little bit by owning a small portfolio of 5 or 10 properties. I'm Jeff Gunther. Making money is simple, but life is really hard. Don't try to do it on your own.